Hey Adeline, what happened?
I hanged on the towel rack.
And why'd you do that?
Because I thought it would hold my weight.
And then what happened?
It didn't hold my weight.
Yeah.
Today we're going to do a tutorial on how to patch a hole in a wall, and we're going to be fixing a towel rack. And I've got a little helper here.
These are things we may use during this project. Phillips head screwdriver, hammer, spatula, bigger spatula, sandpaper sponge, razor blade, level, power drill, tape measure, drill bits, Pinterest tape, DAP, Drywall, Spackle.
Alright, here we are in the bathroom. We still have one existing wall anchor up here that we have to take care of, and then I just cleaned out the hole above my head here, and that's just about ready for a patch. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take care of the wall anchor, and since it's not going to come out easily, what I'm going to do is we're going to tap it with a hammer and push it farther into the wall, and then we're going to spackle over that hole. Okay, Adeline's going to help me with the wall anchor. I'm just going to hammer it a few times. Oops, well, it's in the wall now. What? It's okay, it went into the wall. That's fine, it'll be behind the wall.
Daddy, do we need to put a patch over these holes, or do we just need to spackle?
And the rule of thumb is if your index finger is bigger than the hole, then you're good to go and you can just spackle. But if your index finger is smaller than the hole, then you probably need to use a patch. Okay, the hole on the right here is going to need a patch. The hole on the left are going to be good just spackling. This is the patch, it's a 4x4 patch. We're going to just do a little quick trace around the outside. We're going to sand the surface first and just kind of get it prepped for the patch itself. Alright, so I'm just going to go over it with, we're going to go over it with a little bit of a sandpaper first.
Eddie, why are you drawing on the wall? You know you do.
We're going to be patching this whole hole up, so all this pencil will be gone after, and then we're going to repaint the wall.
The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the dust off the wall, and then, yeah, let's get started. Yeah, look at all of that dust.
Now that we're all cleaned up, we're going to put the patch on. Adeline's going to help me with that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all sticky on the back. We're going to carefully place it. Will you help me push it on? And we're going to spread it out from the center outward. Now we have a solid surface over our hole.
But then what do we do with this one?
We're just going to spackle that. You'll see in a minute. Okay, now we're ready for spackling, and I'm going to be using two spackling knives today. The first one actually fits in the bin with the spackle, and what I've got is the DAP Dry Dex, which is really good stuff. See how it's pink? Well, it actually goes on pink, and then when it's dry, it turns white. So this stuff is awesome. All right, so we've got our pink.
Oh, it looks like pink cream cheese.
Yeah, it looks like cream cheese. Strawberry cream cheese.
Yeah, cream cheese. Does it feel smooth?
Well, it does. Yeah, you can smooth it out. It's like it is like cream cheese. It feels like cream cheese. I'm taking the bigger spatula knife now. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about the uneven edges because we're going to eventually go in and sand. This is just like a sanding block that you can actually get wet, and it almost makes it like a little bit of a paste and takes off all the rough edges and everything when you use a slightly wet sanding block. Alright, Adeline's going to help us with this hole. So you want to turn it like this, and here, hold it like this. And you just want to kind of push it in there like that. Good. Alright, hold on. Let me get excess off now. Oops. Oops, it dropped a little. That's okay. This hole is actually bulging out a little bit. Don't worry about that. We're going to come back, like I said, and sand, and we'll make it flush with the wall. We're about to reinstall the towel rack that Adeline took off the wall. We're gonna do it a little bit lower on the wall. And what I'm gonna do is actually really scientifically ask Adeline to walk up to the wall, and we're gonna find out what height would be a good height for her to hang her own towel on. So, Adeline, can you pretend you're hanging a towel on the wall? Yep, probably right around here would be good. So it's a little bit higher than her, but it's not too high that she can't get a towel there. I also got these wall anchors. They're drywall toggle anchors, and they hold up to 100 pounds, so hopefully those will be good. The spot we're putting it in, it doesn't have wall studs behind it, so we need these anchors in order to attach it to the drywall. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Pencil. The next part, you're gonna see my really precise methods here, but we're gonna put the bar in, and Adeline's holding a level here. I'm gonna take the other piece. This is my way around measuring. I'm gonna take the other piece, I'm gonna put it flush against the wall, and we're gonna move it up and down until we get the bubble right in the center on the level.
Good.
Good? All right, hold that right there. All right, I'm just gonna put a little mark above and a little mark below. And I know that my screw is gonna go right in between those two marks on the wall. Push it in. Oh, there it goes, clicked.
And I put that on. There we go. Yay!
Now you guys have a towel rack again.
Yay! Dad, don't we have to make sure it's level?
Yeah, absolutely. The bubble in the middle.
Yep.
Yep, perfect. Adeline's downstairs getting a snack right now, but my son Caleb needs a towel rack of sorts in the bathroom too. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a hook up next to the shower here on the wall so that we can bring his towel in and he can hang it up when he's taking a bath. Since I'm gonna be putting the hook up here no matter what, I took a 1/16 of an inch drill bit and I'm just gonna go in and just test. If wood shows up on the drill bit at all, then I know that I'm actually drilling into a stud. Yep, I'm going into a stud. This means I'm not going to need wall anchors, so I can drill directly into the stud. Alright, for the finale, I just pulled this down onto it, and this thing is solid. Before sanding, Adeline and I just put this towel rack in, so I want to make sure that everything doesn't get dusty on the towel rack, because I'm going to make some dust now. So I'm just taking painter's tape, and I'm just going to go over the towel rack itself. And any dust that falls down from sanding will get caught by the tape rather than messing up everything I just did on the towel rack. We have to redo this one over here because I don't know, tell me what you did.
I put my finger in that.
She decided during the drying period to come up and test it out. So she put her finger in it. So now there's a big fingerprint. So no big deal. We'll just go over it again and then it should be ready to sand tomorrow morning. We've got 2 sanding blocks. I'm going to get it wet and then I'm going to squeeze it out as much as I can just so it's a little bit damp, not drenched. I keep rinsing them off so it clears off the dried spackle that's been on there. Here we are, day 3, and we're just getting a little bit more sanding in. It looks pretty good, I think. I'm feeling the surface, it's really smooth. There's no lip on the edges around the outside. We're gonna wipe this up and we're ready for paint. Okay, the final step. I've got my painting clothes on, got my paint, my little mini roller. I just wiped down the surface so that there's no dust when the paint goes on, and I let it dry. Everything should be good to go.
Oh no.
Okay, I messed up. I should have put a coat of primer on this first, and when I was painting it over the plaster, everything just started to peel off. So that was my fault. So what I'm gonna do is sand this down once more, put a coat of primer on, then I'm gonna put the paint on over it. Just got some Kills Original primer, sealer, and stain blocker. Okay, primer's dried about 2 hours. We're ready. Let's do this. Now it's time for It's Just Science. What is primer and why do we need it? We've all heard the phrase, it's like oil and water. It's why birds and animals have oil on their feathers and fur to help them keep warm. We've all seen that oil slick in a parking lot after a rainstorm. Well, this oil and water relationship is also true between a primer and latex paint. Latex paint is water-based, which makes it easy to spread on the wall and also dries quickly. It also has next to no odors and releases less volatile organic compounds during the curing process. This has made latex paint dominant in the industry, but imagine a water-based paint being directly applied to drywall, or in this case, a spackled patch. Most of the latex paint will be soaked up and could cause compromised integrity of the material as it's rolled or brushed on. This is where primer comes into play. It's an oil-based solvent that has binding materials and it seals off any porous material it's placed on. Once primer is dry, it leaves an oil resin behind that won't let water-based paint to soak through. In this experiment, if we pretend the paper towel represents the spackle, and then oil is added to the paper towel, and then we pour water on the paper towel, you can see that water is absorbed by the paper towel all around the oil, but it balls up on top of the oil and doesn't seep through. This is because water is polar. Water is 2 positively charged hydrogens and 1 negatively charged oxygen bonded together. Since opposite charges attract, it's attracted to itself. Oil, on the other hand, is nonpolar, meaning it's not attracted to itself. Oil actually has a greater attraction to the polarized oxygen molecules of the water, but water says nay nay because it's much more attracted to itself than oil. Oil spreads across water to be near it, but will not mix or bond, creating a segregated layer. This is why oil has been labeled hydrophobic or water-fearing. In painting, this is the key reason primer creates an impenetrable barrier that water cannot pass through. Both primer and latex paints have other bonding adhesive compounds. So at first the oil-based primer is used to keep water at bay, but then as the water evaporates from the latex paint, a strong bonds form between the paint and the primer. So the moral of the story here is, don't skip an important step while doing DIY projects.
Oh no.
Handz for Hire is a mobile app connecting neighbors ready to lend a hand with neighbors who need a hand. Download now in the App Store or on Google Play. Visit us at handsforhire.com. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.